And welcome to episode 488 of the God is a Geek podcast. My name is Adam Cook, and I am joined by one Christopher Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hello, mate. Are you all right?
I am absolutely peachy.
I've just seen this. This will only be relevant for the people that are watching on the video, but
Okay.
you've just put in the chat, I'm here for Chris Hyde's face.
Actually, I put that in half an hour ago, but yeah.
But the fact that you've put it in just makes me feel really nice and appreciated.
Mate, listen, we all know why people are here. Is that not right, Lyle Carr?
Yes, it is. I think it's also for Chris Hyde's face. I'm not going to be arrogant this week. People come to Breath of the Lyle for me, but for this podcast, they're all here for Chris Hyde's face.
Although I suspect there are a few that are here who are probably thinking, I might be here for that, what looks like a new shirt that Lyle's wearing.
It is a new shirt. It is a weird half and half shirt that has flamingos and pineapples on. So
not pineapples.
All anyone ever needs.
What's with pineapples with you at the moment?
It was recent. Yeah, it was recently my birthday, so everything that my partner decided to buy me was pineapple themed.
Okay,
and it just sort of works for me. I like pineapples quite a lot. They're a fun thing. So
you don't actually like pineapples as a fruit as well?
Yeah, I like actual pineapples,
right.
But I think I probably like pineapples more as like a theme.
I was going to say
than a food. Although I do like them as a food too. Pretty good.
I like the look of a pineapple.
Yeah, they're a fun looking
if you held up an
item.
apple, like if an alien came to Earth, let's do this. If an alien came to Earth and you were like, "What do you want?" and you held up an apple or a pineapple, and I should stress that we're saying these are for food purposes, Mr. Alien, and nothing else. Like an apple's boring, but that pineapple's like it's got everything going on when you look at it.
It's got sass, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably the sassiest looking fruit.
I mean, you can imagine a pineapple in a miniskirt. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I frequently do.
Me too. How's the Quarry, Chris?
You're just like, I'm not even going to bother with segues. That's straight in.
No, all right. Yeah. Well, in a preview sense, based on this is a thing.
So you've said it before
do.
even I get a chance to kiss ass and say, "Oh, I'm nice because the boss is here." Yes.
What?
No, because I always have to say, "Oh," in a preview sense because you'll turn me off.
It's literally. It's like when you've done this as long as I have. It's just kind of. It's not. I didn't even know I said it. It's just like covering your ass before anything can go wrong in a preview sense.
In a preview sense, so everything I'm about to say about the Quarry is in a preview sense. So, literally a couple of hours ago, if you're watching this live, it's on the site now. Is my preview impressions of the Quarry, which is the latest game from Supermassive Games, who are kind of famous, known for their Dark Pictures anthology. But this is not a Dark Pictures anthology game. This is not published by Bandai Namco. This is published by 2K. But it is very much a branching narrative horror title. So it's the same type of game, but it's not under the same, I guess, umbrella of the other games like Man of Medan, Little Hope, and House of Ashes. So we're in the Quarry, lads. So we're in Hackett's Quarry, the titular Quarry, and you are kind of responsible for the lives of 9 summer camp counselors. Okay, and it's the end of summer camp, and all the kiddies have gone home, and I won't reveal why, but the counselors themselves are staying one more night at Hackett's Quarry. And they probably shouldn't have done that. And people are not happy that they're staying this extra night because they shouldn't be. And all sorts of things are going to go wrong because they are. So that's the premise. So basically, they're spending this extra night and they think they're just going to have a party. And before long, things start to go a little bit south with that decision. So the aim of the overall game, as all of them, is to try and make decisions and see if you can keep people, alive for the duration of the adventure. The preview that I played was a chunk of Chapter 2 rolling into the start of Chapter 3. So quite near the beginning of the game, quite near the beginning. A few bits and bobs have happened, but the main reason for that kind of slice of the action is because, as with some of these games, I know you've both played a few of it, Gets the Dark Pictures, Until Dawn, that type of game. some of the start, it's great for setting the scene, but we want to get to the blood and guts of it all.
It wouldn't be much of a preview if they said play chapter 1 and that's it.
Play chapter 1, you'd be like, okay, I'm just it's all. For a start, it's light, that sort of thing. You want it to get dark, you want it to get dangerous, So, so you're playing the start. You're starting to make some decisions, but as you get into the second half of the preview hour, you start to see some of the reasons to be scared. Why when they realized they were staying an extra night, certain people were concerned for their safety. You don't get a good look at what's going on. There's a lot of there's still a bit of uncertainty, but a bit like with in House of Ashes, where quite early on you see that there's things roaming around. There's things to be wary of. I won't spoil stuff if people haven't played that game before, but you kind of almost know what you're up against.
Yeah.
In this preview, it's a very similar approach. Whilst you don't see like head-on face, you see the type of thing that you're up against. And there's very real kind of, it's a return to like choices and quick time events and things from previous games, right? So those types of your success in either your decisions or your quick time events can mean different things, right?
Yeah.
In terms of how does it just feel like another Dark Pictures game, or does it just feel like another Until Dawn game? It feels very much more like Until Dawn because of the setting, right? Okay, so it's a teen horror, so that's a very good thing because I think a lot of people resonated with the story and the feel and the characters of Until Dawn, and this very much feels like that. The other thing that I kind of got a sense of, it's difficult to know for certain with an hour slice of preview.
Fair.
But it certainly feels like a bigger game. I think that
aren't there more characters? Like,
there's more characters. There's literally 9 counselors, and then there's like 6 NPCs kicking about that you interact with as well. So there's a lot more characters. I think it's a longer game as well. I think they've confirmed it's about 10 hours if you keep people alive.
We talked about this elsewhere, like you and I, but it's just come to mind again when you're saying this. I wonder what Bandai Namco are thinking.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know what's the whys and wherefores of how we've got to this.
In the footage I've seen of it, like when you make a decision, like it's got like a retro VHS tape.
Yeah,
it's like they are so clearly being like, it's more like Until Dawn, lads.
Yeah,
exactly. I just wonder.
I don't know, and who knows if some of because there's like I think 8 Dark Pictures film games planned. Whether some of those will.
Sorry.
Hey. My understanding is that there's like 2 groups of 4. So the one that's coming later this year, the name escapes me, but the one that's
the sort of Saw-like one.
The Saw-like one.
There is another one. I was going to say another one of these. I don't mean to sound reductive, but there is another Supermassive game this year.
Yes, which is the Dark Pictures one.
So
that's the 4th one, and as far as I know, that kind of ends that chapter of anthology of 4. And then I believe there's another set of 4. I want to say.
Wow.
They've got fair
play.
But, absolutely. So, but this does feel bigger scale. Like
what budget as well? Like
budget as well. What I will say is, I said this in the preview. Whenever I've obviously played quite a few of these, you always think, well, is it just the nicest looking one because it's the most recent one? And you sometimes fall into that trap. But the character models look really nice. The settings look really nice. The animations of the characters, even I'll admit, some of the like Man of Medan interactions are a little bit sort of like, a bit sort of forced at times. Whereas some of the like animations on here look really slick. Like they're all sitting around the campfire interacting and chatting, and you spot the awkward one, you spot the confident one, not just from what they're saying, but from the non-verbal cues and stuff. It's really well considered and done. And so it looks really nice. The character mod's really good.
Do you think? I mean, this is perhaps an unfair question, but like I'm going to ask it because I can.
Go on then.
But like I haven't played. So what the most recent one with the army guys is House of Ashes.
Yes.
Little Hope is the Silent Hilly one.
Yeah.
So I didn't like Man of Medan.
Man of Medan Ghost Ship. Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost Ship. I did actually like what we played in co-op of
Little Hope.
Little Hope.
Yeah,
I just
that's
never
my
went back
favourite
to
of
it.
them.
Like, I don't know why I'm not going back to them. Because I actually wondered, there was a point where I was concerned, like I used to love those kind of point and click story games. Like the Telltale era was like, I was in. Like the only one I think I didn't, did I play Batman? Can't remember. Genuinely can't remember. I think I played one of them. But like Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song has made me realise I'm definitely here for story games still, because that game's like janky as fuck, but the story is so engaging that it's like, I want to see more. The question I think is perhaps unfair is, do you think this is going to pull people like me in and get me to play through it or not?
It's interesting. I feel like the setting and I think the setting, I think, is what a lot of people will like, because it has that adjacency to Until Dawn. I think a lot of people like that sort of vibe and stuff, and so I think that will help. Whereas I think some of the other settings, you either like them or you don't, for what they're worth. You know, you either, and I think they've learnt lessons as well on some of the pacing issues and things like that they've maybe had in like Man of Medan and stuff, in terms of kind of just get on the go shit now. Let's actually start. You know, so I think it could be. It's difficult to know exactly what you're looking for. What I would say is, like I say, with Until Dawn, I think that it would tick a lot of boxes for people. It's got its own style. It looks lovely. And the only thing that I don't know yet is, you know, when I think about the things that people sometimes say about why they don't like these types of titles, is, does the story land at the end with the choices that you make? And what I wonder about with so many characters is whether if they can stick the landing with so many characters and choices, that would be incredible. Because that's always your worry. Sometimes you go, hang on, that doesn't make sense unless I choose that option. If I choose this option, it's a bit of a convoluted way to get back to that. I've not seen any examples of that in the preview, to be really clear, but that was my biggest, like, let's wait and see bit from the preview, is like, if they can keep it up and stick the landing, this could be something a little bit special, because it's got that vibe. It's got that 80s vibe. It's got the Until Dawn and teen horror aesthetic. It looks lovely. If it can make the choices feel worth it and stick that, then, you know, because a lot of the time with the endings of these games, you get a sense of, did I like it or did I hate it with some of these endings? So if we can stick that, I think they could be onto something, but I don't know what the ending is, so it's really hard.
They've also gone for more recognisable celebs as well in some cases, I think, which is another Until Dawn thing.
The cast is good. I mean, some of the cast in the other games have been quite notable, but there is...
yeah, but I think the thing is two of the generation that, like, with Until Dawn, when you look at it and it's sort of what its pastiche is, like, you know, you look at that, and it was Sarah Michelle Gellar, wasn't it? Which was Buffy, which is a certain generation knows Buffy, and they're grown up now, and they kind of, it's the Stranger Things thing, isn't it, where you enjoy playing the nostalgia vision. And I think that by that the trouble's bit, like, I've known some of the people in the Man of Medan Dark Pictures games, but like I straight away know who some of the big names are in the Quarry, and again a lot of them are from that kind of era. And I think,
it's got, you know, I'm trying to think of his name.
David Arquette.
Maybe like, straight
like
away you're like, again, scream, right, I'm there.
Exactly that.
And that is important, and I do get it, because the good thing about that is it's literally, and they have gone for a Scream type. Yes, you know, that's what I mean. It's that type of thing. So I think that is clever casting as well, and I agree with you. And I think that is important. You don't need the whole cast to be like that, but
no.
You go and go, okay, there is a kind of a blonde confident girl with her hair tied back in this game. It's really quite interesting when you say about Buffy. I've not really made that connection before, but I think that is something that plays into it. I
will feel bad for Bandai if this game does well, because you got Until Dawn, which was Sony, then you have all these like three games for 3 years, and then the Quarry goes massive. Like, it just will feel. I mean, I'm sure Bandai are fine, because, you know, with Elden Ring, I'm sure they've made money.
Yeah,
I'm
they've
sure
probably done okay. But I mean, have enjoyed what I've played. There's enough similarity for people that enjoy the Dark Pictures. There's enough here that you go, yeah, I there's enough of what I like in this type of game.
Yeah.
But I think for the people that have parked it since Until Dawn, or even not even jumped into the space of it, I think there is something in here where you can go, I might just take a look at this. Like you're saying, will it drag me back in?
I mean, literally in the live chat for this podcast, Rowdy Rue is saying the Quarry looks interesting. I still haven't opened the Dark Pictures anthology since getting it in Humble. I mean, literally what you've just said is Before we move on, Rowdy also says, "Will you be discussing the Dead by Daylight dating sim game Hooked on You?" Not today because we haven't played it, but in the future, I suspect.
I will be.
You're a massive,
Lyle will be.
You're a massive
exactly.
Dead by Daylight fan.
I love Dead by Daylight, and I love dating sims. So yeah,
there you go. Match made in.
It looks awesome.
Heaven or hell? I don't know which. How does this work? But yeah, no, I've been meaning to play Dead by Daylight for the longest time. I've installed it on PC and then I've installed it on Xbox, and I'm like, I will play this game one day. But the dating sim thing sounds fascinating. Like it's when you went to the it was like a preview event, press stream.
Yeah, it was. And they were sort of showing off what they were going to show at their anniversary stream, and I couldn't believe it.
I think you just sent me a message and like they're making a dating sim. I'm sorry.
I believe I believe the team literally said, because our fan base is so thirsty, we knew we had to.
They know what they're doing.
They do.
No, they 100% know what they're doing, don't they? There's no question.
Amazing.
We'll see how that turns out, I guess. Chris, unless you've anything more to add to the Quarry?
No, I just wanted to respond to kind of Phil Tyndall just said hello and then just says problem with Dark Pictures games is the cast protagonists are so either unlikable or relatable that you're not invested whether they survive or die. And I think it's a really interesting point because you do only ever have a certain amount of time to establish characters before you want to get into action and start trying to save or kill them. I think which is always a problem. What I will say with this is there are, what characters you're getting here in terms. I don't want to say they're stereotypes of characters, but they're very much. You look at it and go, okay, there's the nerdy, awkward, shy one. There's the jock type character so you know what you're getting with this a little bit. What's that?
I just did a chest bump when you said the
I think he might even do a chest, but I don't even know. I think he might, but so I think you know what you're getting, and they're fairly well, like I say, executed. I think I had to use that pun in the preview. I'm so sorry.
You were allowed to use words.
So I think they've done probably as much as they can. Whether I can guarantee that you'll end up liking them, Phil, is another story. But I think you very much know what you're getting. Whereas I think in other games with Dark Pictures, because you've gone for maybe slightly different character types that you wouldn't normally see in a horror game, you don't have enough time to establish them, and therefore maybe they don't resonate. But yeah, let's see. But yeah, teen horror, very good. Very excited to play more of it. Hopefully. June 10th, I think it comes out. So not long.
Busy month. Soon. Very soon. While we're talking about comments, Phil also said, "Evening all, hope you're having a good week." And I've got a bit of a smudge on my right lens, and I thought he said something else, and I was going to say it's not that kind of podcast, but he definitely said week, so it's all right. I've been playing some 2 Point Campus, which I want to keep wanting to call 2 Point University.
I've called it that a lot.
Yeah.
I actually, when I finished playing it for the preview, I went, wait, what's this called? And I had to check it was camp because I think they're in English.
This is the thing. Like, I could understand if campus. I know what campus is a very American term, but like, it's also they also call universities, so it wouldn't have made a problem if they. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not going to talk about this for very long. I haven't played all of it, obviously. I don't, and I want to avoid being reductive because I will also say that I really liked 2 Point Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really weird to me because I'm old enough that I played Theme Park and then Theme Hospital on PC. What a game!
So good.
Theme Park, I think, was on PlayStation as well, if I remember correctly. But I remember playing Theme Hospital on PC specifically, and I remember thinking like, "Wow, this is kind of." It like when they went from the one to, this is the sequel thing, isn't it, where they grew out with the game.
Yes.
And it's so strange to me that the first game was 2 Point Hospital and now this feels like the coming out sort of that game's, its sequel is 2 Point Campus, and I think I don't want to say, oh, this is going to be a service game, because they've not said anything of the sort, but I could totally see DLC for this already. By way of the progression, like you start off like you do in 2 Point Hospital, it's simple, it teaches you the ropes. But even there, like the kind of humour, the comedic stuff, the charm of the 2 Point like animation, the cartoony characters, even the terminology, like scientograph, I can't say it. Scientography is science. Like virtuality or whatever. I forget. Like it's just so nice, and you sort of start playing it, and you're like, oh god, that was supposed to be a quick look, and I've played an hour now. It does. I haven't played enough of it to say how much it does differently. It doesn't feel like just more. It feels like a sequel. You kind of got more control over the world. Like when you expand, you choose your sort of second building, how big you want it. You can put trees and stuff in like wherever you want them to be. You can really control the campus. And then after you get going, like it becomes kind of themed, like night school or like I forget the wizardry school, which is like it's Harry Potter's wizardry. Everyone's going to go to Harry Potter when they go to wizard school, aren't they? That's the touch point, the cultural touch point, I guess. And it's like when you start playing all that, which is all cool and like all this, it just makes you start thinking, they've only got to come up with an idea. They could do crossover stuff. It's a bit like, do you know how like Forza Horizon ended up doing like the Lego DLC? They could just do a Lego school. They could just do anything.
Yeah,
as long as they can think of it, they could just keep extending.
Because that's what they had. They had with 2 Point Hospital. They had things like that, didn't they? Like like you said, exactly that. The DLC stuff was very much like just a theme. Right, we'll that's it, and it's around that theme, and it's a short, sharp thing.
Like I said, I can't like speak to it for hours upon end. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend, this is my most anticipated game. I want nothing more than to just spend the rest of my life playing this. Because it did feel very familiar in terms of how it controlled. There was a lot I couldn't remember if it was in the previous game. Like when you finish a year of university or your campus, you get a chance to plan. Now, I vaguely remember there being something like that, but in this you can actually go off and like say, well, like these courses are available and I want to add them to my university, so I'm gonna use this time to get my this into my school kind of thing. I also don't remember there's like a secondary currency other than money you get for like achieving things, goals, and you can kind of buy stuff for your school that is non-essential kind of thing. Like you can buy, like you can always straight away if you want you to build a scientography class, you've got the stuff to buy, spend money on that you need to make that a class and for them to learn. But there's other machines you can buy that go in the scientography class that are non-essential. I don't remember if that sort of thing was in 2 Point Hospital, but that's based on like you can unlock it with like it's almost like a little gold stars currency, but they're like you get quite a lot of them. Certainly did in the preview anyway. It's one of those games I think you will really, really like, Chris. Like it's one of those ones that really, you would have been ideal to play this. So I liked it a lot, but it is very much what I expected it to be in a good way. And I feel like I said in the preview, like I feel like if you really enjoyed that first one, then this is kind of going to be for those people, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we covered 2 Point Hospital, didn't we?
A lot. PC, console, Switch. Like
I loved it. You liked it. I think a lot of people are just. I don't want to say people are only expecting just the same, but I do think there is sort of like a niceness to it that you just go, do you know what? I like those type of games, and if that's what it provides me a sandbox to have fun in, if you like then I'm just like, that's okay. Like, don't get me wrong, throw me a couple of flourishes and some like unique ideas like the planning thing and some unique school related stuff. But I don't need it to reinvent the wheel sometimes. I don't need every game to kind of reinvent the wheel, what it does. And
no, and it's not a blockbuster. It's not
no.
It's not a marquee signing, so to speak. It's not. It sounds awful to say it, but it's not like. I'm sure there are people, but it's not a game where I'm personally like, oh, I'm so excited for this. It's just like nice.
But I also think the people that are excited for it are fine with everything you've said about what it is.
That.
Like that's the point I guess I'm trying to make is that you're saying, oh, it's like Treatment Hospital. I'm just saying this because it's very reductive. But it's Treatment Hospital with its own style and the same charm, lands, the same humour lands.
It's the same silly names, it's got silly names in the daft radio,
and it's like tick 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 for all the people that like Treatment Hospital. It sounds great to me, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
that's what I liked.
I was thinking there's actually a bit of social commentary in here, because there's kind of like on one of the radio stations, there's like an old geezer who's like, I don't like new universities because we all know that old universities are the best universities with the best students, so we don't want anything new in our area. And it's like, I think that's social commentary. Maybe myself cough there. But yeah, like sort of a bit of social commentary,
like League of Gentlemen type parodies.
Yeah, especially on a dry throat. But like that sort of stuff. The radio stuff's still great.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed by 2 Point Campus, even if I do have to stop to think about the title every time I say it. So we'll move on, Lyle, to whatever you've been up to.
Okay. Well, everybody.
Floppy thing you've been up to.
I was going to say, it's time to get floppy, everybody.
Yeah.
So
Can
I've
get
been
some
playing...
sort of hand motion with that? Like,
yeah, that'll do. They're good.
Let's get floppy, lads.
Let's get floppy, lads.
Sausage fingers. I don't know. Floppy Knights. Talk about floppy.
Have I talked about my sausage fingers before?
I mean, not to me.
I think I've got fingers that look like sausages.
I think everyone's fingers look something like sausages.
Well, no, I know that, but because like I'm morbidly obese and like I bite my nails, like I've got sausage fingers. I've always said I've got sausage fingers.
I just think, yeah, is that not what fingers are? I'm really glad it came up.
Yeah, same.
There we go.
A little confused, but I mean, Lyle, how did we even get the sausage finger? As my fault, wasn't it? Sorry.
You said sausage fingers.
Fault,
I didn't just bring it up.
Yeah, sorry, Lyle. Please.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So I've been playing Floppy Knights, and Floppy Knights is a very, very, very good game.
It's the way he says floppy. You sort of say floppy, like it's got an extra vowel in it.
Floppy
Say it again.
Knights.
Yeah. Cool whip, yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know I said floppy like that, but that's how I say floppy. I'm sorry. That's just how I'm going to say it for the rest of the segment.
I apologise. I've been very unprofessional for the last 2 minutes. So.
Okay, good. Can we do that on Breath of the Lyle as well, please? That'd be handy. Okay, so Floppy Knights. Imagine, if you will, a cross between Advance Wars and a deck building game. You've imagined Floppy Knights. So Floppy Knights is you play as this young inventor girl in a world of magic, right. She just loves science, and her parents think that she's a real waste of space because of this, and she's trying to prove that she can make something really useful and helpful in this world of magic. So she invents Floppy Knights, which are essentially little robot creatures that you summon by putting floppy disks in, like a mech arm that she's got, and you use them to sort of do turn-based battles on a nice little grid. So you start off by getting plant Floppy Knights, and you'll have like a little plant pot that you move around and attack enemies with and stuff like that. If you've played a sort of tactics game before, you kind of know the setup. Like, there'll be a grid. Maybe your objective will be to kill all the enemies. Maybe it'll be to get your commander unit to the end of the screen. Maybe it'll be to capture a flag, stuff like that. But the way it all works is you have a deck of cards that between missions you buy. You can craft new ones. You'll unlock them for doing well at a mission. Like, you'll usually have a sub objective, like don't lose any units or do it within so many turns or whatever. And the deck literally is everything you can do like in a turn. So in a turn, you'll draw like 6 cards, and they'll be like, some of them might have a unit on. So you've got sort of like I think you've got energy, I think it's called, essentially like your sort of like your mana for how much you can use of the turn. How, like what you can do in the turn, and you might have a few different unit types you could summon into the start, to your sort of like little start area. You'll have things that are like move, things that like cards that do things like attack, and as you get progress, they get more and more complex. So you can get like, instead of just a card that helps you, that you can tell one unit to move, it can be move, or if you move in a straight line, you move 2 extra spaces, or if you're already in a forest, you can move 1 extra space, or if you attack and kill an enemy, you'll get like some energy back, stuff like that. And it's such a fun game to just sort of like experiment with, to like, I mean, it's one of the best sort of like of that Advance Wars type strategy games I've played, because I love deck building so much as well, and because I love card games so much, that it's kind of the best of both worlds. And I mean, yeah, it's like, it's not too complex. It puts you in nice and easy, like it sort of eases you into it a little bit. You'll sort of only unlock like a new card or 2 between missions, so you won't like it's not sort of like, here's 50 cards, figure out what you're doing, because deck building can be pretty overwhelming in some games where you don't know what the balance of different things are, whereas in this you'll pretty quickly learn like, okay, I don't want to get rid of too many of my movement cards because I've got some really good attack cards, because then I won't be able to move. Like there's like kind of a lot of balance like that, but it's not many people are talking about this game. It was in an Xbox showcase.
It's on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, and yeah, it was in an Xbox showcase, which is when I originally saw it last year, and was just sort of like, this is a game I want to keep an eye on, and I have, and it's really good. It just does something very different in a quite sort of set genre almost of tactics games. You usually know what you're getting with a tactics game. And
the vibe I got, right, reading your review, and I've looked, I mean, like I say, it's kind of gone on the radar. There's not a lot of coverage of it, which is a shame. 9.5, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, like, the vibe I got from it, which is really interesting, is it does very much feel like it's a progressive, like, deck build, and the way it builds in terms of your options is really clever. That's the vibe definitely. I got. That's sometimes the problem with deck builders, is you get to a point, like a plateau, don't you? And you're like, now it's just using my options cleverly, and probably over and over again, because I've got a deck I like. Whereas it very much feels like this keeps going. I mean, you probably will reach that point eventually, but it feels like it holds back some of its trump cards, for whatever. It holds options back, and it delivers them over time, like you say. So the tactics build. Whereas imagine before at the mission, it's just move and attack, right? And then after that, you're like, but if I can chain things together in different circumstances and stuff. So that for me is very interesting, because then you're like, I find sometimes with those types of games, they just become passive click type games, because you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
whereas
definitely.
Actually, if you've got more things to think about and more ways to do things,
then
it's more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, each world is like completely different to the last. Like, they really shake things up as you progress. Like, the first world will just be sort of like a standard world where you're getting to grips with everything, and then you're thrown into a lava world where there'll be different spaces where, like, it'll show that there's gonna be like lava there next turn, so you have to sort of like, move your units carefully like that. Then one of the later worlds is they have fog of war, so like, out of nowhere you go from knowing where enemies are to like having to position your units so you can see, and if they're in a forest, just like in Advance Wars, like you can't see them unless you're right next to them, so there's like a lot of like careful placement you have to do. Like it holds, it definitely, like, it introduces things like nice and slowly, and then it really holds things back to like just have more and more interesting stuff as you go. And you sort of unlock new decks as you go, which have different sorts of knights in, and you can sort of mix and match them, and you just sort of get so many options as you progress. It's really fun. It's like, I think one of the problems I had with, I mean, it's a long time ago now, but with Advance Wars back in the day, was like, it was always like it was very set in stone. You had every unit, you knew what you were doing, and because of that, it was quite a pure strategy experience. And I don't feel like I'm that good at strategy games sometimes. Whereas with this, like if you're bashing your head against a wall on a mission, which didn't happen to me very often, but like you might just draw your cards in a way better order the next time you play it, and it's a lot more satisfying than if like you're trying just different strategies and failing every time. Like there's always a chance that you can just make it through by either meddling with your deck a little bit or just drawing the right things at the right time. And yeah, it's a little bit less sort of punishing in that regard.
Phil in chat says, wasn't Floppy Knights on Apple Arcade originally? And I think it was, actually. I think it was on
was it?
Yeah, I think so. You said Advanced Wars too many times now, and I just sort of drifted, if that makes sense.
You want that game?
I do want that game. Yeah, I do, and it's done. And like, things it's not coming out next month, is it? No chance. Absolutely no chance. Not with Mario Strikers and Fire Emblem Warriors. No way they're going to release 3 games. I mean, it's unlike Nintendo to release 2 games, but I suppose they're so different. But you've absolutely piqued my interest in what you said, because as much as I like tactics games, I would not be against the kind of... It almost sounds like they've taken a little bit of the idea from what's that bloody the game Lost in Random?
Yeah,
like the card-based system Lost in Random, but turned it into a turn-based tactics game, which is I'm always here for tactics games. Anything else, Lyle, this week?
He was right about Inscription as well.
Inscription's great. I played the
demo of that, and I'm so tempted to buy it. So
I will buy that, but I am waiting for the Switch version, which was surely
it's a Switch game that. But Game Pass, I am waiting get on it, I suppose, for this one. So yeah.
Well, if it's an Apple Arcade, I'll download an Apple Arcade. I still subscribe to that. So
true.
Yeah, that works too. Okay, well, after hearing that I'm right, I enjoyed that part and how right I am about other games. I'll talk about another fantastic game, because I just have really good games this week. And the other fantastic game I'm going to talk about is Arcade Spirits: The New Challengers. So the original Arcade Spirits, I think 2 years ago was when I reviewed it, because that's when it came to consoles, but I think maybe it was out the year before that. A visual novel that's sort of set in a world where the arcades never petered out. Nothing ever happened to stop arcades from existing, and they're still these awesome, beloved hub areas for gamers.
You got me so far. Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool world. The other thing about Arcade Spirits, just as a series in general, is it is incredibly inclusive and lovely in every way, and not in a corporate ticking the boxes type way. They 100% know what they're talking about. It's something they're really passionate about, and because of that, they just create a world that I 100% want to be in all the time. So in this, so what I loved about the last game, especially for me, because I am an asexual man, I don't care about sex stuff. That's how I describe that. That's the definition.
Sex stuff. Yep.
Don't care about sex stuff. So in the original game, they had an option where it's a dating sim. You don't have to romance anyone. You can literally just say, I don't want to have romantic relationships with anyone. I just make friends with everyone. It's something that I've never seen in another game like this. And I just thought, that's really cool. I'm not someone who has that part of me represented in games very often. It's not something I'm ever really sad about when I see a game, but the idea of getting to see it like this, it was oh, that's cool. This time around, they've included so many other really cool characters. My favorite character is a woman called Jinx, who has a spinal cord injury, and there's just so many brilliant moments in the game. There's a part where, so it's like a visual novel, so you have all your different options and everything. There's a part where you first meet her, and you first realize that she has a disability, and you have 4 options, and the top of the screen, it literally just says no right answer, and whatever you say, you're going to put your foot in your mouth and say something stupid.
I like that.
So
that's quite cool. I like that.
Yeah, so you literally say something oh, it's real, she's playing an adapted version of a driving arcade game. So they've got a version where you don't have to use the foot pedals, basically. And she said, and your character says something oh, well, what I picked picked anyway was like, oh, it's really like lovely and inspirational to see that you're not letting your disability hold you back. And she's immediately like, I'm not going to be your inspiration pawn. This is my life. Like, don't treat me this way. And throughout the game, there's like little moments like that, which are just like so like they're sort of teaching people a bit about how to interact with people, and it's amazing. Alongside all that, in the last game, the theme was more like your character didn't really have a place in the world. You needed a job. You got a job in a failing arcade, and you kind of tried to team together with everyone who worked there and make it a success. And it was like,
I don't think you need the word failing there in front of an arcade. I think you just can say in an arcade.
In this world, failing is a very interesting, different part.
Fair.
Whereas in this game, it's
I kind of want to live in this world too.
Yeah, it's really
great.
It's a great world. Whereas in this game, the focus is because it's that your character has always wanted to like be the very best at his favorite esport game, and you're sort of building an esports team, which is it's kind of an interesting concept, something I'd never really have thought of to sort of expand on the last game. And what's really interesting about it is the sort of like the one of the main themes throughout the game is like how to deal with failure, how to like what happens when you lose matches, like how to not put your own personal value into if you win or lose. And it's such a lovely story. And I don't want to go into more detail about too many like what happens in the story or anything, but I would personally say that before I played this game, that the first Arcade Spirits was my favorite visual novel, and it's a genre that I love. And now this game is my favorite visual novel. So I absolutely love this game. I love everything it stands for, and I just hope it's a series that people try out. I played it on the Switch.
I was going to say, where can people pick this up? I think it's out, well, as we're recording live right now, I think it's out tomorrow.
I think
there will be a review on God is a Geek soon.
There will,
time, whenever you're listening to this, it might already be up, I don't know. So Switch.
PC, it's not it. I think it might just be Switch and PC. I can't remember for certain, but sometimes that does happen.
Okay. Just before we move on, update in chat, live chat. Mikhail says that actually, Floppy Knights is just Xbox and Steam. It wasn't on Apple Arcade, which is a shame. So I was actually going to download it after.
Damn.
I'll just carry on playing Grindstone then instead, which is a fine thing to do as well. That's a very good game as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. I really am intrigued. Like, the last thing I need to see of Arcade Spirits now is like the art style, and then I'm there. Do you know what I mean? It's like the only thing we can't see. I can picture everything.
Yeah.
I mean, because you said arcades, I'm guessing it's like retro-y.
It is
pixel
quite
art.
retro-y.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a visual novel.
Oh no, it's not pixel art. It's like sort of just sort of drawings, just nice art. It's not pixely at all. It's just sort of nice, cartoony, happy characters.
I love what you said about. I won't go into any detail on this podcast, but what you said reminds me of someone I once knew who would have said exactly that. Like when it's good that you don't let your. I would borderline have just told her and go, oh fuck off. Do you know what I mean? And I really, it sort of when you get that little sort of warm feeling. Missed. Right, so it's time for Sausage Fingers listener correspondence.
It is.
Let's see if he can.
You want me to put Sausage Fingers in it?
Fucking right, I do.
Okay, it's time for Sausage Fingers listener correspondence. You can clip that. Right, first question.
That'll be the
week.
one, though, won't it? That'll be the one.
Yeah,
will be the one.
Asking Steve every fucking week to clip it, and he doesn't. And then the one week he does is the one week I say Sausage Fingers.
Yeah.
Right, so the first one comes from Nick Gillum. So he said, right, we need to visualize. I might actually already know Lyle's answer from the conversation we've just had.
Yeah, I think you might.
Yeah, you're a cafe owner in a video game world. Okay. What would be the video game world you'd want to run the cafe in? So first part of the question, and then regardless of the world you're running the cafe in, who would be the worst video game character to possibly patronage your cafe? Okay, I'm going to come to Lyle first.
Please do, because I need to think about this.
Okay,
I have an answer, so we'll come to you last.
the easy answer is Arcade Spirits, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's what we're all. There's a cat cafe manager game, and you could just pick that you were going to have a cat cafe, and that's quite nice. You've just got lots of cats everywhere. Maybe that's a bit too much work though. Like you would have to stop it from being a smelly, awful mess. I'll just say
I think
Arcade
if we all
Spirits,
do
yeah.
the first part first, and then talk about the worst people to be customers. My one's maybe quite obvious, right?
Okay.
And that would be like I'd like to be like a Brewster in Animal Crossing because I think that'd be so relaxing, and like anyway, just generally that world is relaxing. But I was also thinking, even if not very many people turned up and I wasn't breaking profits, I could just get up early and hit the rocks before everyone else, and just it's so easy to make money in that place, even if you're not selling coffee. So you're not even going to be stressed about how much profit you're making. You can just chill out and just sell. It'd just be easy.
It's all about profit for money bags over there. Isn't
it is. But what I'm saying is, like, you're not like the stress of running any business would be like, oh, am I covering my overheads or whatever? You know, am I going to have a roof over my head? And I think there'd be less stress in that world for that, because you just get money from fruit and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Adam,
this ain't going to come over well, is it? I think
depends what you say, mate.
I'm kind of in the Chris Hyde camp. I'm going for the world of FIFA 22 or FIFA the football game, because it's going to be full of thick footballers coming in and paying for my overpriced brew.
Oh, you could charge ridiculous amounts.
Right? Now, I mean, I'm thinking of people like Jack Grealish, like who's not self-aware enough that when Man City won, congratulations to Manchester City, Chris, as you know, as I feel.
Oh, 100%, yes.
Congratulations to them. But I've seen some absolutely cracking. From what I see, he had an absolutely hell of a night out.
Yeah,
but it was
smashed.
Oh, smashed. But before the smashing, oh, sorry, I didn't mean it to sound quite like that. It probably happened as well. But like, he said something like his favourite moment of the season or something was when Riyad Mahrez came off, or someone came off. Silva, who is a fantastic player and has been one of the best players for Man City this season. And he had the balls and lack of self-awareness to say this about this player, despite the fact he's done fuck all to help Man City do anything this season. Didn't even play in that game. And I'm thinking, if there's enough of him in that industry, I could make some bank.
You could sell them for so much. Yeah.
You know a cortado? Do we all know what a cortado is?
I'm aware, yes.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so a cortado is like a really small coffee. Very
it's
intense.
Like espresso with a little smidge of milk on the top.
Yes, like like a drip. Yeah, so it's like in a small little diddy cup. I would sell them for like £3,000 each, and I would say they're like special coffees, and I would come up with a new name for them, and so that's me. I'm selling coffees.
Tardo or something.
Name it after them, and each person who comes in, it's them. So would you like the new Hyde?
Would you like the Jack Grealish? Yeah.
This is the Grealish. Yeah. Oh, hello, Mr. Carr. I've got your Cartado.
Cartado.
That's pretty good. Okay, I'll take it.
Yep. Oh, £3,000. Oh, it was a specialised drink just for you. Yeah, none of the others are anything like yours. This is special. Only you're allowed it.
I mean, he'd probably splash out on like a wedge of pineapple for you or something, Lyle, just to,
so you really knew it was yours. Cartado.
Sounds good, yeah. Gotta buy it.
And then, so who would be the worst person? It's Jack Grealish again, isn't it? The worst person to come into it.
Hate it.
No, well, he is technically a video game character.
Well, he's in FIFA, but I
think for me, it would be someone like what's the bad guy in Abe's Odyssey? Is it Modoc or Murdoch? The Mudokans.
Something like
bloody
that.
name
is.
Yeah, I know who you mean. I can visualise.
Like he's a real bastard with his stinking cigar. Like he would stink. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a similar answer, but maybe worse than someone with a stinky cigar. I think the Pokemon muck would be a very bad customer because it's just a big pile of slime. It'd make a massive mess.
Or Trubbish. Trubbish would be pretty bad.
Trubbish would be pretty bad, stink, wouldn't he?
Or I guess
what's the evolution of that? It's a bigger one, isn't it?
Garbodor, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Garbage. Yeah.
It's just like it's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I get asked about video game characters, I literally go to my mainstays of the ones I follow. So I was like, okay, so would Mario be all right? And I was like, well, Link would be an absolute prick
breaking all your pots.
Well, no, breaking. I didn't even think about that. The bastard would be breaking stuff and nicking money, but I didn't even think about that. I was just be like, so, what would you like? And he'd just be like, eh? And I'm like, sorry. The menu's here. What would you like? Yeah. Like, no. Can you use some words, please, sir? Can you tell me what? And he just doesn't speak, so I'd have no clue.
He will one day. You know he will one day.
What one day? One day.
You could, to be honest with you, Lyle, you could have just said any Pokemon character. Because I kind of feel like every single one of them is like spraying shit like a feral pig all over the walls. Like,
Can we not get into the like match-up conversation or whatever he said the other day, the last podcast?
I don't remember that.
The cannibalism bit. I don't want to get back into
that. Oh, yeah,
that.
moving on. Jeez, that wasn't... Yeah, go on, Chris. What's the next Sausage Fingers question?
The next Sausage Fingers question is from McPoo. He said, I read an article yesterday about the no Marvel games in development. Discarding the mobile one, what do you all want to see from Marvel's Midnight Suns, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, and the unnamed Amy Hennig game?
Midnight Suns is going to be an XCOM, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Like, that is what that game's made by Firaxis, isn't it? I want to say. Have I imagined that? So that one's a known quantity. They haven't shown much of it, but if it's a Firaxis game, it's going to be an XCOM Tactics kind of thing, definitely. Spider-Man 2 is an interesting one because I don't really need much more than what they're doing. I just need more story, and I wouldn't mind some co-op. I think that would be an interesting thing to do with that game.
I mean, they have to do co-op given how they've set it up.
No, I don't think they do at all.
Well,
I think they could switch between the characters in and out very comfortably.
I'd be disappointed if it was that. I think
you're going to be disappointed then.
Okay, well, I am perpetually disappointed with humanity, so that's fine. But I think
you should
the thing for me with this is I don't want something completely different because that would be ridiculous because it's going to have a lot of similarities. But I want to be able to say once it's over, oh, that was Spider-Man 2 and be able to really differentiate it from Spider-Man and Miles Morales. That's the thing for me. I don't want it to be like massively different, but I want to go, oh, that's the one with the X or whatever. And if that could not just be a story beat, that would be great. Like I don't know what that X is. That's not for me to. I'm just a moaner, not an ideas person. But like that, I'd be annoyed if I was just like, this just feels like Spider-Man. As good as that is, I love Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Don't get me wrong, but if it just feels the same,
I think they have to go somewhere else with it.
Enough for me.
But I don't think they will. I think they probably need to go to another location, but I don't think they're going to.
No, and in which case, if they don't, then I kind of feel like I do need something different than
something
just
else
another story
in the same New York again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Wolverine's the interesting one because I think they have to go a little bit more violent with it. But because the last Wolverine game was very violent. It's good actually. It's one of the few sort of its era that was really good. I can't think what it's called, but it was a good game. And Amy Hennig's game, I mean, she fascinates me because the amount of games now that she's worked on that we've not seen, if you know what I mean, it's been longer than that she hasn't shipped a game, if that makes sense. And I'm really fascinated, but I can't have an opinion on what it could be because I just don't know.
The thing with Wolverine, it's like I'm like because we literally don't know anything about which sort of.
Well, you do because it's being made by Insomniac, right?
Yeah.
So it is going to be that combat, the Spider-Man, the Batman, Arkham, that.
Yeah, I mean, my gut is that is it like you say? My vibe was like, is it going to be like a Batman, like Arkham type game?
Well, it needs to be gritty and kind of. Yeah. It needs to zoom in a bit, if that makes sense. It needs to be sort of because you don't need the verticality and the massive world. You could make it more of a third-person action adventure.
Yeah,
which would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
That's years off anyway, I should imagine.
It's 24, isn't it?
2024, I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Make them all dating sims. Yeah. That's my answer.
Make them all just side missions or just full on?
Just the whole game. Just scrap what they've shown of any of them and just make every single one of them dating sims, but with superheroes and supervillains.
I think, well, joking aside, the worry with Spider-Man 2 is that it is now a formula. Like it was a formula. With Miles Morales, you saw very clearly they have a formula for making Spider-Man games.
That's what I was saying about it. Like
how they break out of that.
I like it. I really enjoy that. But when I get Spider-Man 2, if I'm just like, I have played this twice already, that's where I'll be like.
But what more can you do? Like
disappointed.
he Spider-Man's around the place. You know, he slings webs and flies around. What more can they do with that character?
And I like I say, I'm
don't know.
moaning, not saying I've got the answer, but
fair.
And maybe it's like I just want a couple of unique set pieces.
Which they did start to do with Miles, so
yeah, maybe I want like I don't know, in like the films when they have like the runaway bus or train or something that's like more of a set piece type thing. And there was some of that. There has been
but
some of that,
it was kind of front loaded from what I recall.
Yeah, exactly. Whether there needs to be a couple of more of those paced around, so it doesn't feel like it's just City, because that sounds like I hate the game and I really enjoyed it and I played it all and I platinumed it, but like you know what I'm trying to say.
No more stealth. Not needed.
Anything else on that, or should we move on? Have I got to read out this?
Just read
not the question, the bloody name. So Mick, whose name is Z15F20I12E09L14D.
Zeef 201. What does that say, Lyle? Do you know?
I don't even know.
No, I don't even know. I've seen it a couple of times.
Zeef 2012. I don't know. What's his question?
So again, he's picked separate questions for all of us. So
the one for Lyle seems to be recurring.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. Should we go for Lyle's first?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Elden Ring, when we're all asking.
When I want to play it. All right, guys, just chill out. I'm going to play it before the end of the year. But I mean, I currently have Horizon that I'm trying to beat outside of other games. And so far, I've played about 20 minutes of it. So the amount of time it's going to take for me to get to Elden Ring is, quite a lot, really.
Opus Echo of Star Song, when?
I think this is a visual novel. He sent me a message saying that I should play it like earlier today, and I imagine he was hoping that I didn't have a chance to look it up, but I did have a chance to look it up, and I thought it looked all right.
He does like to throw his curveballs.
He does like to, and yeah, it looked all right. It's probably a game I'd play, but I don't know when. Sorry.
He then cheekily asked good games when, but given you've already just talked about two that you've
talked about two pretty great ones, yeah, I'm happy with that. I did feel like this week's questions were more of a personal attack than actual questions.
They were a bit.
But I'm fine. Roll with the punches.
Yeah. I'll do you next, Adam, so to speak. How are you finding Xenoblade Chronicles 2 now and the voice acting? Because you've been back on that bandwagon, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been craving something big. Fuck.
You have.
I have, like, because I think I've almost. I don't know if everyone gets this. You guys can tell me perhaps, but like when you're in the maelstrom of kind of like February and March, where it was just big games all the time, non-stop. Now it feels like that's calmed significantly. Like we're almost on the other end of that, and I'm sort of craving that kind of like just something to really get stuck into and like just absorb me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think back to when God of War first hit, and like I was just like. Just didn't want to do anything but play that game. Or Horizon did it, Elden Ring we did it with. Like I'm sort of so I thought, well, I never really got stuck into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so I downloaded Xenoblade Chronicles 2, remembering that I'd started playing it, and I booted up my save, and it was only an hour and a half in, and I was very confused, and I was like, this doesn't seem familiar at all. Where's the dude who keeps on about rain time? And then I realised that it was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition that I had got about 12 hours into. But I wasn't downloading that after already downloading this. And I was like, well, everyone says this one's better, so I'll just get stuck into it. And an hour and a half, you might as well start again. I didn't. I did carry on. I'm proud of that. It's interesting. I've had this conversation with a few people now that I feel like Xenoblade Chronicles is the nearly game. Like, I feel like if they actually listen to the feedback from the negative reviews, they could make a 10 out of 10 video game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the voice acting I don't have an issue with, because I kind of think someone somewhere must know what they're doing, and it's intentional.
100% they know what they're doing.
I tend to tune it out. It does catch you now and again, and you're like, fucking hell. But like, it generally speaking, I tune it out. I don't know. Like it's weird. Like there must be Welsh actors out there and Scottish voice actors. Why not just hire them? I don't get. Unless and apologies if it's people that are really from Wales and Scotland and they've just got strange voices. But like it feels like they're getting someone to do an impersonation.
I don't actually know that. Actually, I've never actually looked it up.
But it's one of those things. It's not just this game that does that. Like there's what was the Irish actor in Assassin's Creed, where it was like. I forget what his name was, but like again, it's like there must be unionized, or I don't know how it works in what territory. If it has to be a unionized voice actor, there must be someone who is Irish and is Scottish, and like it's fine. I wanted to play 2 just to get sort of the feelers in a bit, before 3 in what is it, September. No, is it September? Can't remember.
No, it's August. It's July.
July or August, yeah.
July. Yeah, it's because it got pulled forward and.
That's right. September's Splatoon. Sorry, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And yeah, no, I really like it. I really do like it. I think the sort of the problems that persist with that series, if they just addressed them, like I say, they could have a 10 out of 10 game here. But like, they're never. I don't think they're going to. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I don't know how far I'll go with it, but it's at the moment it's fun.
He said, "Did you get the DLC?"
No. Well, I've got the Torn. What Torna?
That's the Torn. Yeah, the Torn.
I have that, but I'm not playing that because I need to finish the first 200 hours of that game.
Yeah, yeah. Obligatory food question for you. Favorite mustard type?
What does he mean, English or French?
Well, I imagine that aren't the 3 options mainly English, French, or the American yellow stuff?
I don't think I have a favourite mustard because they all have very different uses. Like, I mean, if you're going to have it on a hot dog, it's just going to be the American, but like Dijon mustard's nice. And
yeah, Dijon is nice,
yeah. But then I'd really like English mustard with in a ham sandwich or something. So I don't think
you're not mustard loyal. You
because
flex
they are
depending on the situation.
Like it might sound like, oh yeah, well that's the difference between Heinz and HP, but they are like English mustard, Dijon, French. They're all American. They're all different, very different use cases. So I rejected the question.
Stupid question, right?
And
what game are you looking forward to for 2022 on Xbox and PS5?
PS5 is God of War Ragnarok. I'm looking forward to playing that. Huh?
If it launches,
it will. August, September time. I'm staking that now. Put my claiming time. August, September. What game are you looking forward to on Xbox? Fucking hell. Hang
on, let me just find my notes of crossed out games.
Stalker 2. That's still coming out in December, right?
I'd have to consult the Oracle document on our site. I think it is. I think it's on there.
I mean, is he asking exclusives? Because I mean, it's a.
You could just say
Floppy Knights
Campus. That's on day 1 on Game Pass, right?
But I also already said I wasn't that excited about that.
Yeah.
I just make horse noises.
Quarry.
The Quarry. I'll play the Quarry on Xbox if you want.
That'll do it.
Wow.
Do you want me to ask you questions?
Can you ask me my questions,
I do.
please?
Yeah. He knows exactly what he's doing asking that question and why it's aimed at me. Chris, would you play a Xenoblade Chronicles Warriors game?
Right. So I've been thinking about this.
A Musu. Xenoblade Chronicles
Musu.
Musu.
He wants to know if what would have to happen for me to really like to play a Musu. So look, listen, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I've played Hyrule Warriors, and I got some enjoyment out of it, but wouldn't go back to other Musus. If there was a Xenoblade Warriors, and someone else reviewed it and said this has taken Musu games in a different direction, and it captures all the music and loveliness of Xenoblade, I'd be like, yeah, I'll play that. If it's just Musu with Xenoblade characters in it, then no, probably not. Because
I think they're done doing that. They don't do that anymore, really.
Yeah, not really.
No, so for me it would be what is the thing that makes this unique?
Well, you can't really go multiple characters because that is Xenoblade.
What's that?
You can't say, oh well, it's got loads of different characters you can switch between. That's already Xenoblade.
Yeah, so I'd want to be like, what is it that's not just killing loads of enemies, going to these camps and making them red or blue and all that sort of stuff. What is it
I
not?
don't think a Xenoblade Warriors could happen. I think Xenoblade Chronicles is the closest to a Musu because of the auto combat. I think it's the closest to a Musu
Yeah, I
already.
guess the Musu element is often like
It's the enemy
lots of
count.
enemies and things like that, isn't it? And the fast combat, whereas
Maybe.
Xenoblade combat is a lot slower.
Very slow, yeah.
But yeah. If the series would interest me, if I could be Rhine and play and kick out, I'd be interested. I'd be interested if so, but if it was just what I don't like about Musus, then no. So that, frankly, that's the reason, because I don't play them now. So a franchise just popping up wouldn't be enough for me, because Zelda wasn't enough to make me want to do it. So Xenoblade isn't going to be either.
Okay. Favorite? I'm sure he's asked this before. Favorite
I think we've had a very
non-alcoholic
similar
beverage?
question. Pepsi Max. I
Yeah,
said
that's
before.
what you said. Pepsi Max.
That was the favorite, like
Also
cola or
Pepsi
something.
Max Cherry.
Yeah. So I think it's still probably that off the top of my head. He says drinking water. That's because I'm healthy.
Favorite type of cheese?
I like Borsan. I do love that.
Which one's that? It's quite.
It's like the garlic
soft.
spread.
That's the garlicky, creamy, spready one.
Is that
I do
cheese or a cream cheese?
Well, the fact that it's got the word cheese in it, it tells me that it's
So
still a
cream
cheese. Right? Cream what? Sorry?
A cream cheese.
Right. So cheese. Okay, good. So, I mean, if you want hard cheese,
I want hard cheese.
I always want hard cheese.
I want hard cheese.
Hello, Steve. By the way, he's just.
Oh, what a
popped up
time
in
for the
chat.
foodie
Yeah,
to join.
yeah.
See, this thing is, so like Stilton, I don't like. I wouldn't have if on a cheese board. I
Don't
wouldn't
pick
have.
ones you don't like.
No, but this is
No, we'd
important.
be here all
'cause
day.
If Stilton was like a Stilton sauce or melted Stilton, I like, but I wouldn't want Stilton with
No,
crackers.
but what's your favourite type of cheese?
I'm trying to think now because I had an answer. You said
If
one.
you
I
want to
can't
say
have that, so
Duvin,
I'm thinking of a different
if
answer.
you want to say du Bassin, you have to do the advert and the French accent.
No,
and
I
I'll accept
fucking
it.
don't. It's
I'll
my
accept it.
section.
Yeah,
It's
but-
fucking sausage fingers, listener correspondence. It's
And
not
that's
Adam
fine,
Cook,
but
listener
no one
correspondence.
else can hit
You
stop
can't change
recording.
the question. If you want different questions, submit your own next week, and
I
we'll
will
do
submit a question that says, "Can Chris Hyde please say du vin, du Bassin in that accent?"
them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe you do that next week.
Which, now I
maybe.
think about it, means wine and cheese.
No,
yeah,
bread and
there's
cheese.
bread as well. It's
Du
du
vin.
vin, du pan, edible.
Yeah,
Sam.
bread, wine, cheese. Yeah.
Actually, not a fucking bad idea, is it?
Yeah, no, it's quite
As a
nice.
trio.
Quite nice sounding, actually. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
If you'd have done it in English, I'd have understood it so much longer ago.
Yeah, if they had
just
an
got
advert that
Cockney.
went bread, wine, cheese. you'd
Yeah,
be
like a real
sold.
Cockney voice.
Yeah.
Maybe get like Harry Redknapp or like Ray Winston.
Yeah, yeah.
Bread,
Wine,
wine,
cheese.
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 Bet and play now. Du Bassin, which is a blue cheese or not?
But it's like a garlic and herby
Yeah,
soft cheese.
So you're not a big strong cheese fan.
No, I do like cheese. I don't like. Zoe likes
just-
brie more. Brie's not.
It just seems an odd choice. Lyle, is it me or I don't know?
it's an interesting choice.
Like
I'll
going against your head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll kill your whole family, mate, if you don't tell me your favourite fucking cheese. Du Bassin. Like it just.
Oh, okay. What's yours?
No, it didn't ask me. I like
But you can't come up with an answer.
I can come up with an answer, but I don't want to because it's upsetting and it's a sore point for me. Just before Christmas this year, Sainsbury's did, and this, I don't go in Sainsbury's very often because I don't have the money, but Sainsbury's did one of their own limited edition cheeses, and it was Chipotle infused cheddar,
Oh, that sounds nice.
and it was fucking out of this world good. Now they do a chili cheddar still, but it's not the same one. It's not quite as nice. This Chipotle infused cheddar was genuinely like it was goddamn. Every time we go in Sainsbury's, I will always go down the cheese aisle just to check. It's still not back. It's a bit like when, I don't know if you've ever seen Muller Lite do that with yogurts. Like there was a licorice flavoured one and it was lovely, and then like it genuinely is limited edition. They
licorice
stopped doing
flavour?
it. Yeah, it was really nice. They're doing one at the moment. I think it's banoffee pie flavoured one, and that'll be gone. They did a Turkish delight one, that's gone. But in terms of cheeses, that would be probably my favourite cheese. I do like a very strong cheddar, like a one where when you cut it, it's crumbly.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's nice.
cheese is just kind of good.
Yeah,
Cheese
all
is
isn't it?
banging. Like, I will say that cheese is great.
I would
Like,
avoid the blue. I'm not a fan of blue. I don't work blue.
I only like blue, like I say, like melted. Like if there's still to melted on top of something, I'm fine with that. Or in a sauce, it's fine. But I
don't want the blue cheese as a cheese.
Yeah,
Like
I
with
like
crackers.
blue cheese.
I feel like I should, but I just can't get past.
Yeah,
the sort of
I do.
smell.
I have to say, like I do like it, like a cheese board. Maybe this is why I'm struggling with the favorite, because it's like I like a cheese board where you can have a lot of different ones. Like,
We went for that for, I think it was my wife's birthday, and I've been thinking about it non-stop, and that was over a year ago nearly.
yeah,
And I
do
keep
like
thinking
cheese
about
board.
it. Charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Well, now we've
Stephen
become truly...
Stephen has come in chat. Actually, showed me his very impressive cheese selection the other night when he hosted a get together soiree.
Okay, well now we've become kind of fully middle class. Would you like to close off this segment?
Yeah, that's the last question of this week's Sausage Fingers listener correspondence. And if you don't know what that reference is, then you joined too late. You're just going to have to watch this back when it's available later this week.
No, it's next week.
Well, fuck me. I thought I did really well
You
then.
did. You were doing so well, but you didn't. You've not quite got the hang of the time travel.
Right.
difficult
No,
to-
that's
it's
the
difficult
one
to-
flaw. I haven't nailed
Time
time
travel's
travel yet.
difficult. If you do,
Yeah.
if you're watching this on youtube.com/GodIsAGeek, click the description. You'll see a load of links there. One will be to godisageek.com, which is our website, and if you go and have a look, you'll see reviews, videos, all that sort of stuff. Another link will be to subscribe, which you should definitely do. Another link will be to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/GodIsAGeek, where you can support us. And that will then in turn lead to the other link, which is our Discord channel, where there's a general chat. Well, we hang out and stuff from the site gets plopped in there. But there are loads of Patreon-only channels. And, of course, there's exclusive content on the Patreon as well. There's a brand new podcast. It's 2 episodes in. The third one, it's going to be every fortnight. So the third one of them is coming up soon. And that's called Breath of the Lyle, and you'll have to probably get into the Discord and try and work out what that's all about, and it will make a lot of sense to you once you become part of the God is a Geek shared universe.
And like everyone else in the shared universe, it will become your new favourite podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Wait, what?
Hated podcast.
Punishment for something.
Yeah, punishment.
Yeah, that too. It's a great show.
But other than that, do you know what? And just come and join us in the Discord, and you'll find some lovely people there to chat to. Like, there's a general chat there. Just come and have a chat with us. Come and say hello. Chris, Lyle, thanks for being here this week.
Thank you.
We did take a week off next week. Last week we'll probably be back to normal every week, but sometimes you just got to have a little bit of a break, haven't you? Rowdy Roos says, great show. I had to turn notifications on. Definitely do that. Definitely do that. You won't miss anything.
Love it.
Thank you to everyone for watching, listening, sharing. I'd say if you can't support us financially with the Patreon, then just share us. We're happy for that. And to everyone else, apart from Lyle and Chris, who I've already said thank you for being here. I'll have to say it again. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Just don't want it to end. Everyone else, will speak to you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Ta-da for now.